Hi, I'm Jennifer Bardot, and I'm your host today. And we're going to be talking about grit. And what does grit stand for? Growth, resilience, intention, tenacity, which leads me to introducing you to Dr. Karen. She's a contributing author in our next anthology, Intention, and I'm excited to have you here today. So, who is Dr. Karen?
Oh, Jennifer, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here with you to talk about my chapter. Well, first, a little bit about me. I am a lifelong educator, and I'm from a family of educators. And I am at a crossroads in my life as an educator. I recently retired. I was a superintendent and 30 years of education, traditional K-12 area in education here in Missouri, St. Louis in particular. And I've retired and I've moved on, and I'm working at St. Louis University in the School of Education Ed Leadership Program. So I'm now in higher ed and I'm doing something different. And I've learned so much about myself with this transition, knowing how much I love St. Louis, number one, and I'm passionate about education. So that has been my guide, my guiding post in what I'm doing and my new projects and things that I'm studying. I care so much about the children here in St. Louis, and I've been afforded the opportunity to start doing work across the country as a consultant. So being engaged, especially this time in education and where things are, we all need to lean in, regardless of what your role is. We all need to pay attention and be engaged. So that's kind of where I am right now. Um, I have a son who is finishing up his sophomore in college and he's moving off campus. So that's another big thing. I'm a mom as well. Very much a major part of me, even though I'm parenting a young man. So life is good for me right now.
Well, that's phenomenal. So, you said you came from a family of educators.
Yes.
So, with that, was that kind of the reason why you stepped into education? Or,
100%, 100%. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity because it was very serendipitous for me to meet you and write about intention and also this crossroads with my retirement and doing something different, because this chapter afforded me the opportunity to think about why I was in education and why I feel the way that I do. So it was an opportunity to really reflect back. And then it was a tribute to a very influential person in my life, which was my auntie, as I like to say. And it's a tribute to her and how she instilled in me the love of education, both to be an educator and to ensure that you are educated. And then also, she instilled in me the importance of identity and how to really be present and understand the importance of your role as a Black educator, for those that are racially congruent,
right?
and what is needed in that. And so that's what I talk about in the chapter, is really elaborating on my beginnings and how I was socialized and how that love was modeled for me by a woman who was incredibly strong and intelligent, but caring and loving. And I just admired her so much, and I wanted to be an educator. And then once I finally made it, I called it game day. I finally had my own classroom and my own students. It came to me in full force, everything that I saw and what was told. And it's like, wow, I really need to show up. Like, I knew it, but then when you finally are there. And so it just grew in me and grew in different ways with different positions that I've held all the way up to the superintendency. And now as a professor, how do I show up? How am I there to advocate? How am I able to leverage whatever area of influence that I have to make a difference in education, especially as a Black woman?
And I love the passion. I can hear the fire, and it's just nice to be around. And I love that you know that you have a place there to show others that they can do what you've done and be that role model like your auntie was for you. So I love that. What did you learn about yourself as you were, going through the intensive journal of participating as an author in intention? What did you learn about yourself?
Well, it was unconscious. That's one thing, and that's interesting because as a scholar and a practitioner scholar is identity and really being aware of yourself and the way you present and how that has an effect on others. And so when I was going through this exercise, I didn't realize how much of an impact my family played out in me for years until I took the time to realize, wow, I'm here today carrying the way that I care because it was talked around me, and my aunt, she had, sisters, and they were all educators as well. And so I heard this growing up and not thinking any different. And how to be a teacher and how to be organized, all these things were in my subconscious, and it played out directly. And so that is something that I want aspiring leaders to be aware of. You need to take a moment and think about how you were socialized. Why are you in education? What is your why? Because you will be challenged. You will personally and professionally at some point in your career, you will be. And so you have to know your why and lean into your why and think, what do we need to do for all children? What is the best that we need to do for our children? How do we show up? And it starts with ourselves.
Absolutely. So, since you are so focused on the identity and knowing who you are, and you've gone and done the work of self-reflection, what are some of the mantras or, mindset affirmations that you live by when you start to have doubt creep in?
Right, very good. Well, what I've learned because of my age, I've learned that you have to understand that this will pass, and you have to believe in that and breathe deep and focus on that and not completely lose your focus. That is one of the main things that I have been working on is around flourishing, is finding that stillness and that balance and not to be overly religious, but your belief in God, that my belief is that he is going to take care of me and he's seen me through so many things. And I go there because I want to center myself in my faith because it's very important to me over time, especially when I've encountered a lot of challenges. I've lost both my parents while I was in the superintendency. Unfortunately, my marriage ended. Well, I was like a lot of things. I was very sick. And so I know all of these things, and many of the educators, we're human, and these things impact who we are and who we show up in classrooms. And so I want to say to everyone, you have to take care of yourself. You need to learn how to be still. You have to have your faith. You have to believe that you will be okay, and you will be okay. I that's first and foremost is my faith. I just, I want to add on, but really that's first and foremost for me that I've seen for myself and finding myself grounded in that and in God and moving forward, because I want to make sure that I am whole for others, but I have to take care of myself first.
Absolutely. And I think as women, we do tend to neglect taking care of ourselves because we always prioritize everything and everyone. And I love that that's what you're being intentional about, which leads me to what's next? What's next for Dr. Karen?
Thank you so much. So, again, this was really perfect timing for me because, again, I have the work that I'm doing at St. Louis University, and I work with aspiring principals and superintendents. And what I have reflected on is all centered around educational equity, and it's been the body of work that I've done for years. And everything that I've learned and what I feel that aspiring leaders and current leaders need to think about is this framework that I developed. And it's these 4 frames of consideration, and it's called the equity-focused design. So it's a framework, and the first part of it is about identity. And knowing your why and your purpose and why you are in education and to know yourself. So this is all very timely. I developed this about 1.5 years ago, I've been writing about that. I have a manuscript on that particular work, and also been writing a manuscript for my own like racial autobiography and identity and my why and purpose. So I can influence and inspire other leaders, and especially women leaders that are doing this work. Just real talk, because we have to be there for one another and encourage one another and inspire one another to do this work, because it's not easy.
No.
I am not going to sugarcoat it, but it is so important and it's fulfilling. It really is. But we have to be real about the challenges that lay ahead for us.
Yep. And I love that. It sounds like you're have built a supportive network, and it's going to really empower others, particular educators, to know who they are to their core, and you're going to support them through that journey. So is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we wrap up?
Yes, thank you for you. I appreciate you. I appreciate this opportunity. It just feels so good to know that there are a group of women that are trying to do this work. And not only is it the book, but it's all the other opportunities for us to get to know one another and do this work together. And that's powerful. So I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you said yes and you participated and you're part of Grit community and you're on this journey to participate in intention, and
100%. I'm all in.
I can't wait to see the impact that your story makes in the community and your future work is going to be making on all these educators. So thank you for being here today.
Jennifer.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.